Good morning. Welcome to another weekly reading video. Today is Thursday and I'm currently sitting in traffic running late for work. But here's what I plan to read for the next 7 days. I'm currently listening to Rabbit, the autobiography of comedian Patricia Williams. She's from Georgia, and so far it is really good. I'm about 3 hours into a 7.5 hour long audiobook. Then I plan to start Minority Leader by Stacey Abrams, and if not finish it, at least get halfway through the book. And I am currently on page 43 of We're Gonna Need More Wine by Gabrielle Union, and I'm really enjoying this one as well. So this week is gonna kind of be like a celebrity memoir / book wrap up, because this summer I actually read quite a few celebrity books. I read The Mother of Black Hollywood by Jennifer Lewis. I read The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. I read Francesca Ramsey's book, well, that escalated quickly. And I also read Michael Bennett's book, Things That Make White People Uncomfortable. So next Thursday, when I come back to recap this week, I hope to do, short reviews on each one of those books and just put them all together in this one video. So I'll see you all next Thursday. We made it to another Thursday. I hope everyone had an awesome week. It was really, really busy for me. So I didn't get to read a lot of physical books, but thanks to my daily commute, I got a lot of audiobook reading done. I really wanted to finish this book this week, but I did not. However, I did read, I think last week I reported that I was on like page 43. I'm currently on page 110. I also wanted to pick up the physical book for Minority Leader, but I didn't touch it at all. So that was the only physical reading that I got done this week. First audiobook I finished this week was Rabbit, the autobiography of Miss Pat. Miss Pat is Patricia Williams, who is a comedian from Georgia. And when I tell you she has lived a crazy life, I would not want to have lived her life. I decided to pick up her audiobook after seeing her Breakfast Club interview. And I think Ellen from Yep, I Read It, she may have talked back when she was recording videos. She talked about the book one time, so it was already on my radar. I'm glad that I got a chance to experience this book. It is narrated by Miss Pat. She by no means is a professional narrator, so be prepared for her southern accent is how I'll put that. Miss Pat, by the age of 15 years old, only in 8th grade education, had 2 children. The father of those 2 children were 8 years her senior. So can we say pedophile? What was a 20-year-old doing with a 12-year-old? Backstory: Miss Pat is one of 5 children. I do believe she's the youngest. And her mother had to have had her and her siblings young as well, because when Miss Pat was around 17 years old, her mom died at the age of 39. Her mom was an alcoholic, and I believe she was struggling with a lot of demons of her own. And so Miss Pat and her siblings grew up in real poverty, basically. Once she grew up and had the kids of her own, she left her mom's house, got on assistance. When the baby daddy goes off to prison, she then begins to hustle and sell crack herself. So Miss Pat got to experience the start of the crack epidemic from the side of the drug dealer. She said she never touched drugs herself, but that's how she started to provide for her children, and other members of her family. Now Miss Pat, she's in her 40s. Those children she had in her early teens are now in their 30s. That's just crazy to think about. She's since remarried and has younger children. And I always think about that because I know some people who had children in their early teens. They're off graduating now, and the lady, she's pregnant again. So it's like they're starting over again. 2 batches. Children are like in 2 total different generations. But I really enjoyed this. One thing that she talks about a lot is the people that helped her, you know, in her journey through the years. When she was in school and was being picked on for, you know, being the stinky girl in the class. Teacher, you know, started feeding her, started bringing her change of clothes and taking her clothes home and washing them for her, you know, combing her hair when she gets to school early, those type of things. Those things make a difference in a person's life. Then it was the social worker who she talked to extensively and, you know, told her, you know, hey, you're funny. You ever thought about comedy? And even when she was out there hustling, she had the person who was a business owner. She out there hustling in front of their business, but what did this person do? He didn't condemn her. He watched her kids for her. She called those different peoples like that in different stages of her life her, you know, angels that helped her. I definitely think it's worth the read. Anybody should read it. Miss Pat even mentions how her telling her story has helped her to see it's just not an isolated thing. People across the board can relate to her story, and I think that's why it was important for her to tell it. I definitely recommend it. The audiobook I read was Every Little Step by Bobby Brown. This was not even mentioned in the last clip because it wasn't necessarily on my radar. But after watching the movie on BET, I decided to pick it up. I am a huge New Edition fan. I also am a huge fan of Bobby Brown's music. I really enjoy 90s R&B. That's just, you know, that goes without saying, really. If you don't know who Bobby Brown is, he is one of the original members of the boy band New Edition from the early 80s. Supposedly his bad behavior caused him to get kicked out of the group. He then had an amazing solo career, married to the wonderful Whitney Houston for 15 years, and he experienced a lot. The main thing that I got from this memoir is how much death he faced in his life. In the span of, I think, 3 to 5 years, he lost both parents, a sister, Whitney, and their daughter Bobby Christina. Bobby says for the most part the label of bad boy does not fit who he actually is. He took on that persona and just went with it. Some of the things that I got from this memoir, and I think everybody should know this, but he wasn't the one who introduced Whitney to drugs. And Whitney's family has even said that it was her brother who introduced Whitney to drugs. Did he do drugs and stuff while him and Whitney was together? Oh, yes, they did. We remember the reality TV show, don't we? Because yeah, they were out there. But I felt his sincerity while listening to this, which, by the way, Bobby reads it. He's the one narrating it, so be prepared. It takes a lot of getting used to, but I stuck with it. Bobby is... See, I think that he is the opposite of that persona that he took on. And in the memoir, he has inserts from his brother, his sister, his current wife, his children. They're all speaking about different events and telling their side and speaking on who Bobby Brown really is. So at the core of who he is, I think he's a family man. He definitely loves his children. Even everything that was going on, he seemed to always, you know, want to be there for his children. And I think that shines through. I think it was good that he told his side to the story. You know, Everybody has their own opinions of who he is. So I thought it was a good idea that he put this memoir out there. It's very interesting, very entertaining. I don't know if I would recommend it on audio. I said just pick it up and read it. But if you don't have the time like I do, just deal with Bobby's voice. He knows he's not the best narrator. This audiobook I've read this week was a very short one, only 45 minutes. We Speak Your Names by Pearl Cleage is a poem that she wrote for the Women of Honor celebration that Oprah Winfrey did in 2005. In the audiobook, she talks about getting the call from Oprah and Oprah asking her to write something for this celebration. This celebration was a lot of women of honor, Diane Carroll, Shirley Caesar, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, so many more, and they're honoring them. And then they had the new generation of young Black professional women that's coming about. And this 2005 was really before everybody started saying Black girl magic, but I remember seeing video and photos from this weekend that Oprah hosted, and it was a lot of Black girl magic going on. So We Speak Your Names is the poem that Pearl Cleage wrote for that celebration. So inspirational. And then in the audiobook, she takes the time and talks about the lives of each honoree, which I think is like 15 honorees, and how they affected her life personally and what they have done for the community and other women with their lives. So it was excellent. I absolutely enjoyed it. I highly recommend reading that poem. That is all I read for this week. I hope you got some good reading in. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what you're currently reading. And I'm Lady. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.